just question. We got to flirt with it. I'm a big advocate of Arsenal not being clutch, Arsenal not being able to finish, Arsenal not having the gene to close it out. They didn't do it last year until someone does it. I'm doubting Thomas for all you Roman Catholic raised kids out there. Like, show it, prove it to me, and then I'll believe it. With that said, it'd only be fair to kind of question if Aston Villa is pulling a big old Icarus right now, flying a little too close to the sun. Are they actually an in the hunt team masquerading as a contender right now?
So this is what I'll ask. If we're doing this 2 weeks before, or a week before they play Arsenal and before they play Manchester City, what is our answer? Our answer is probably they're in the hunt. If they have a big week, then they're contender. Okay.
Yeah.
So I think it's only fair based on that we say that they are a contender. They're in third. The statistics are back them up. They're very close goal difference, goals for as everybody else. Unai Emery is a really good coach. To combat your Arsenal point though, you only can prove that you've done it when you do it. And until you actually do it, and like you're saying, you're always going to be doubted until you do it. But there is a point where everyone's doubting you and you do succeed. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. I think you have to put them in here. I thought you were going to say like Arsenal shouldn't be because of the past, and I think they're definitely in. But I think you have to put Villa in there based on this last week. Now, if they go in and lose to Brentford, then I think, based on away form, how they are, no. But I think they're the bottom of this tier for sure.
So let me give the most white guy grabbed a mic from Best Buy and created a podcast, little anecdote here, answer type of thing. The biggest game for Aston Villa is going to be this next one. Because
it's like having a 2-goal lead.
Yeah. Yeah, worst lead ever. You beat the treble winners. You beat the top of the table Arsenal. Now you got little Brentford, who we've said it doesn't really matter for them, and you're playing them. You got to beat them, and you got to just. It's kind of like the cliche answer, but they are one game at a time club right now. You got to take it one game at a time. You got to take it one game at a time.
Well,
all right.
I think there was. I don't know if it was. Yeah, I'm assuming it was McGinn because he's the captain. They banned using the T word title in the locker room. So I think they're already like gearing for we got to block everything out and just play, which is good. But
that's such an American sport thing to do. Like I could hear someone in the NFL being like, "Don't mention Super Bowl, don't mention title."
What's messed up though? Just that last thing on that point is that's such an American thing to do where like your captain will say that, but then people obviously will be like, we could win it like in their private lives. I think that they would actually be like, yeah, we can't say that. Like we're not allowed.
Yeah.
We don't talk about it. I think they're that bought in.
I could see Unai being real strict about it for sure.
Well, he said it, so I don't think he cares.
In the hunt, United, Brighton, Newcastle, Tottenham, our first contender being Aston Villa. We mentioned Arsenal. Let's start there. What needs to happen for them to win it this year, and don't just say they need more points than everyone else?
They need either Ivan Toney or Victor Osimhen in January.
Or Dom Solanke.
So while I think that is a great shout, I think
I know.
Hold on. I love when the commenter disagrees with like 5% of what we say, but agrees with the other 95, but then just like hammers home that like actually it was only 15 minutes that Villa were good, not 37. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Okay, you get what we're saying though. I do think that for where they are, if they were like 2 years behind, Solanke would be somebody that you bring in and you hope that he just like
blossoms,
takes off. Yeah, I don't think they're set up for him necessarily to just be a world beater. I think Toney and Osimhen are like pretty much guarantees. If they get one of them in January, I'm definitely scared that we have to play them 3 times in 40 days.
Okay, so you're sitting on they got to buy someone. Do you truly think they don't have the facilities to win the title this year, big man?
Yeah. I don't think they're consistent enough offensively in open play.
Yeah. Okay.
I think they will
All
be
right.
so close. I think defensively they're great. I think they will be right there all year. They leave it late too many times, which either we've always said is either a sign that you're a great team or that you need to pick it up a little bit. You never know until you know.
Mhm.
But I just think that as good as Nketiah, Jesus, Trossard, Saka even are, they need somebody who's just gonna like live in the 6-yard box and put goals away.
Yeah. Normally a team that is at the top, let's go City so you can do Liverpool last. They're obviously contenders too. What do they need to do to bring it home again? 4th time in a row.
Start playing midfielders where they're actually positioned, and and Kevin De Bruyne needs to come back and be like 80 to 85% of what he is at peak.
As a Liverpool fan, still the most afraid of City?
Oh yeah, not even close.
Yeah. Okay. I do think so too.
I'm afraid of. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that the pieces are there. I think that we're not deep enough this season, and that's killing us. But the pieces are there, and like it is literally I hate saying this because it's the opposite of the cliche of like a game at a time. Don't say the title word. Like we literally can flip a switch and win 12 games in a row, and then be like in the driver's seat.
And it doesn't look like it now, but you never do it now. You always do it towards the end. So I have a feeling that defense is going to figure it out and they're going to start not giving up goals, for a couple weeks.
Yeah.
I do think that a lot of stuff I'm listening to and hearing is people talking about De Bruyne coming back, and like once he's back, then all bets are off, and just taking for granted like how difficult it is to come back from injury. And be not even just play and be contributing, but be the, generational midfielder that you are in the Prem, one of the greatest to ever play in the Prem. It's not going to be easy. And if he does it, it's going to be insane that he did that.
Yeah.
So I would say like 80 to 85% De Bruyne is still good enough. But we saw he got hurt in that Champions League game, came back early in the season, got hurt again. You just fear that if he comes back and he's not 100%, he's going to get hurt again. And then I don't know what you guys are going to do.
I've been shouting this to anyone who will listen. And this will be a comment strictly for pretty much me and Nick, because we're old enough to Nick might have been alive, but I'm afraid that if when De Bruyne comes back and it's super successful, it's going to look more Kirk Gibson than anything else. It's going to be slower. It's going to be in a more stationary position, and it's going to be like quite literally pinging balls where they need to go. I think it's hard to come back from a leg injury and an injury where he sustained it, but to have multiple injuries over the course of a couple of years, he already wasn't the fastest. He already wasn't. I mean, he's one of the smartest players ever, so I think he'll be able to figure it out. But I agree. All right, and then our last one, your boys. What has to happen for you guys to bring home a title? Second for Klopp.
I think first and foremost, Alisson needs to play the whole season. The drop off between him and Kelleher, I think Beans is good. I love Kelleher a lot. I think Alisson is just so much better that it doesn't matter. So he has to play. He has to play every match. I think the offense needs to basically be humming every game. In the past couple, it hasn't. I mean, I know we scored 4 against Fulham, but those were all insane goals. And then 3, we need to not invest so much in the Europa League until the very end, if we get there, and focus on the Premier League. And then on top of that, I still think watching that Crystal Palace game, watching that Fulham game, we need a legitimate defensive midfielder, because Palace were passing through us at times. And I just think they need somebody that strikes fear in the midfield, and we don't have that right now.
we've talked about this before, and I don't want to get into it because I think you could do a whole like 20-minute pod on this, but like I don't think that's out there right now. Like I don't think you have
the guy for Benfica, I can't remember what his name is. There's two actually. There's a guy this year, but then like I think it's like Felipe Luis was pretty good last year with Enzo Fernandez. Decore is out for the season. He was a big shout early on. Polinia, I know there's reports that we're talking to him, but then Klopp today said that there's no intention of getting a DM or a center back in January. I think we just kind of talk in circles a lot. So I don't know for sure. Yeah. So yeah, I think there are guys out there. I just think we have always showed that if we really want somebody, we will put the money forward regardless of what it is. For instance, like Van Dijk and Alisson, at the time, those were astronomical amounts of money for those players, but they both turned out pretty fucking good. I just think that we're not going to, unless like we're in a situation a couple years ago where we lost all the center backs, so we had to like bring in Ozan Kabak and Ben Davies. We're not going to just buy somebody to buy somebody. So it has to be the right fit. But that being said, I'm interested how you rank this specific category in teams.
Like who's the best?
Because we've always said like Tottenham are the top of in the hunt. So who's the bottom? I'm assuming it's Villa just because they're the new team.
Well, we're
I think
biased.
it has to be I think you have to be first.
Yeah, we're gonna do it the same exact way, and we're biased because we know our team so well, and we also we legitimately don't think any other team is as good as ours. It'd be City, Liverpool, Arsenal, Villa. Villa's the new guys; they're fourth. Arsenal blew it and choke artists, in my opinion, in third. Liverpool, I'm afraid of them, but I've beaten them before. Second, City in first because they've done it 3 times in a row, and they're trying to be the first team to ever do it 4 times in a row. So that's how I do it.
Yeah, I think I would agree. I just everyone talks about our defensive frailties, which I do think we give up a lot of big chances, and I think that's why Alisson is so important because he's so good at that one-on-one making those big saves. Defensively, we have the same goals allowed as Arsenal does, and everyone talks about how great that defense is, and it is. It's incredibly good defense. They don't give up a lot of opportunities. I know they're on 33 goals. It's only 3 less than us, but I can't see like in a game how they're going to score consistently, especially against bigger teams. And at the end of the day, you got to score goals. Otherwise, it's just draws you're going to get, and that's not going to be enough. As I've seen for sure, like we've had less losses than you guys multiple times and lost the Prem because you guys don't draw as much as we did. So
yeah, for sure. All right, contenders: Liverpool, City, Arsenal, Villa. In the hunt: United, Brighton, Newcastle, Tottenham. It doesn't really matter. Bournemouth, Brentford, Everton, Chelsea, West Ham. It'd be a real shame. Palace, Fulham, Wolves, and then OKCU, Luton, Burnley, Sheffield, Nottingham Forest. That is our tier list. Michael, we've gone on longer than we thought we were going to, but I thought it was a pretty good content, pretty good conversation there.